Hello, my name is Don Strange. I am with the City of Highland Village. I manage the Street and Code Division here in Texas. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about legacy and public works. One of the things we're going to be talking about is succession planning, how we developed our program. Hopefully it relates to something you maybe can use in your organization. We're going to start off with a little bit of housekeeping. Some of the learning objectives we're going to talk about: the history of public works, the future of public works, the cost. I'm a bit of a pavement nerd, so a lot of my examples are going to be street related, but I do feel like it's the most expensive asset your municipality has. And then we're going to talk about the importance of credentials and developing a succession plan. Some more housekeeping. So the APWA asks that you download their Snow and Conference app. There's instructions there on how to do so. One of the things they want you to do is do the evaluations for the sessions that you attend. There's some instructions on how to do that. We'll talk about it again at the end of the presentation. There's a drawing for gift cards, so be sure and do that. So we're going to jump right in. One of the things that we want to talk about, again, the legacy of public works from there to here, and by that I mean the history of public works. How do we get from the early days of Egyptians building pyramids and aquifers and Romans developing roads to modern day construction with GPS and so forth. I think we had the Industrial Revolution with urbanization, people moving from farms into cities. There's just more of a need for collective public works. And then the other thing that crossed my mind when putting this together was, now that we're here, what does the future look like? How do we get from here to there, and there being the future? I think we've all been touched by AI recently, drone technology. There's a lot of technologies out there that we may not even be aware of yet that's coming. So we have to be able to adapt. Public works touches every phase of life: roads, water, drainage. So our industry has always adapted and will continue to adapt to change. Some of the key takeaways, we're going to talk about recognizing degrees. There's a couple of new degrees out there, public works specific certifications, achievements, licensing. And I have found that our stakeholders, our residents, our council appreciate the impact. One thing I've noticed over my 40 plus year career, we're getting more attaboys than we ever did. People appreciating what we do. I think part of that comes from having a well-trained, experienced staff providing better service. Speaking about AI just a moment ago, this is an image. I asked AI to generate an image. The ingredients of a successful succession plan. Say that 5 times fast. So in my simple brain, I picture, a melting pot of all the things it takes: hands-on experience, modern teaching methods. I think since COVID, online learning has really expanded. Industry training, certifications, degrees. We'll talk more about degrees in a minute. Professional licenses, something to consider. A lot of your public works departments already have professional licensing: water guys, sewer guys, code enforcement, building inspectors. Until recently, there wasn't really anything organized and recognized nationally for pavement professionals. There is now. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to talk real quick about the need. Again, I'm a pavement nerd. We can argue this is representative. Basically, industry standards say it costs between $1.5 to $2 million to build 1 mile of 2-lane road. That's not including pavement markings and street signs and traffic signals. Here in Highland Village, we manage 400 miles of paved surface times $2 million. Cleveland, Ohio, I don't know how many miles you have here, but the investment is huge. It is arguably the largest investment any municipality makes. And, so who's managing your largest investment? That's a good question. This is, did a quick Google search. TxDOT has a project tracker website. These are current and planned projects TxDOT has. You can see It literally covers the entire state. You've got everything from projects that are under construction all the way to feasibility studies. It's not hard to see the scope of work. And something that gets overlooked within TxDOT, the state of Texas, or I think there's about 240 plus counties. So each one of those counties has their own public works and maintenance operations and paving operations. And so within all those counties, there are roughly 1,250 municipalities statewide. Excuse me. So each one of those municipalities has their own public works operations and street departments and paving projects. So it's not hard to see the need. There's definitely, and again, all those projects times, just a basic number, $2 million per mile. It's astounding. I've often said you could sell most of the other departments at a city and all their assets and pave, a small fraction of the pavement in your city. So then the question becomes, who's managing your largest assets? And again, public works is more than roads, but for the purposes of this PowerPoint, I'm focusing on roads. But who's managing it? In Texas, I can tell you most public works departments are ran by people with engineering degrees. That's not to say people with engineering degrees aren't good directors of public works, but I think the tent's getting bigger. I think there's more room. There's room for more people under that tent. You're going to have people with all kinds of degrees, with all kinds of backgrounds that can and do make good directors of public works. So you're going to have people with public administration degrees, business degrees. When you think about every city of any size has an entire engineering department. So, you could argue, well, then the director of public works would also have to be a licensed code officer and have water license, so forth. So again, not to say that they can't be good directors, but I just think there's all leaders come in all shapes and sizes, and there's room for everyone. So this is going to be an example of someone who did not take that traditional route. This is Scott Kristen. He's the Director of Public Works for the City of Highland Village. Scott started in 1996, I believe, as a utility tech, worked his way up through the ranks, became superintendent. Scott got his degree back before online learning, so he had to go to school at night and weekends to earn his degree. I believe his degree is in public administration. And Scott's been Director of Public Works here at Highland Village for probably close to 20 years. So this gentleman, he's probably the best example, success story of our in-house succession plan. This is Lane Klein. He started working for us here at Highland Village as a Tech 1, entry-level pothole patching type job, elevated to equipment operator, crew leader, field supervisor. Unlucky for Lane, but good for me. My health held out. So in order for him to promote up, he had to go to another city. And all the while, he was earning a degree, most recently got his master's degree. And as we sit here today, Lane Klein is Director of Public Works for the City of Bedford. All this was accomplished within 11 years. So he went from a Tech 1 to Director of Public Works in 11 years. That's impressive. So the pathway to becoming a director or leader of a public works organization, now there are many more trails or paths, way to get there. You have your traditional students, someone who graduates high school, goes to college, gets a civil engineering degree, and works towards becoming a director of public works if that's their goal. But now you have trade school students, on-the-job learners. Typically, those two things get paired together. Those two things paired together creates a skill set that absolutely can lead to a director of public works. So a little bit about Highland Village, how we did it, some of the nuts and bolts. At Highland Village, when we hire an entry-level Tech 1, they start day one taking classes towards their Tech 1 certification. As soon as they get that, they immediately begin working on Tech 2, Tech 3, crew leader, supervisor, and so on. Excuse me. The good thing about that is all of these classes that we have crosswalk to Front Range for college credit. A student, and Front Range not only has the associate's degree in highway maintenance management, there's a new degree. Sue will talk more about that later. That's geared towards the trades. But our in-house training program steers our staff towards courses that will crosswalk to Front Range. So a student theoretically starting at Front Range could start with almost half of the 60 credits they need to graduate. That's our goal. So again, a little bit more nuts and bolts. Our succession plan starts Tech 1, 7.5 hours professional development. That can be at AASHTO, NHI, APWA. There's dozens of them out there, in person, online. Tech 1 immediately starts taking classes towards Tech 2. We require 13 hours, same thing. Tech 3, 23. The difference, and you'll notice the jump between Tech 3 and crew leader and supervisor, those classes, those positions are leadership. We asked that they have some supervisor training and some asset management. This is a look at actually a screenshot of our personnel policy where our employees are eligible for up to $1,200 a year in incentive pay. That's real dollars in their pocket that helps them, but they're getting training that helps serve our residents. So it's a win-win. You can see this slide's not real clear, but Tech 1 to Tech 2 to Tech 3 to crew leader, supervisor, and so on. This is our template, if you will. So this is a screenshot, and again, Sue will go more into this, but this is to the left are course numbers, to the right are crosswalks, things that Front Range will accept in lieu of those courses. They have to come up with transcription agreements and so forth to make sure they meet the criteria, but again, you almost cut the time and the cost in half. For crosswalks, there's zero cost to the student. And again, it's a course you don't have to take. So you're cutting the time and the cost almost in half to earn an associate's degree. Possibilities are endless. These are a few examples. I'm not going to read them all off the screen, but these are some actual real people that work in Highland Village who have elevated from entry-level positions to leadership positions. Ben from a Tech 1 to field operations supervisor. Janie went from a secretary to public works operations administrative assistant, so on and so forth. You can see there's a list, and this isn't even all of them. This is just what I could fit on the slide. These are the people who are benefiting from our succession plan. Again, in my 11 years at Highland Village, we promoted within for every leadership role that has become available during my time here. This is a quick look at our success rate. I have a little spreadsheet. I keep track of who promotes up, who moves on to leadership roles at other places. And we're at about 70% success rate with our entry-level staff promoting into leadership roles either here or at another organization. So, if you pair drive and opportunity, you're going to get results, and that's going to turn into legacy. I have no doubt this plan is probably going on other places. I don't know what they call it, but I'm sure other people are doing it. This is just how we did it. We have to fully acknowledge that there are a lot of factors, work ethic, drive, personal experience. Not everyone wants to move up. There are those people who like operating equipment. That's all they want to do. We need those people. But for those who do have the drive, I think it's incumbent on us as leaders to give them the opportunity. They're going to produce results, and it's going to end up in legacy. Legacy for all of us. We have a saying here, a rising tide lifts all boats. So whether someone moves up, promotes up here, or goes somewhere else, whether it's here or a different organization, again, a rising tide is going to lift all boats. So that's my little pitch. My name is Don Strange. My contact information was on that last slide. Feel free to reach out to me. Willing to share everything I have if someone's interested. A little housekeeping here at the end. Again, don't forget, they want you to download the mobile app, and you'll be in the drawing for a gift card. Just do your session evaluations. Thank you very much. Have a great day.